Good morning, everyone. It's Sunday Morning Coffee with Lisa. I'm Spiritual Coach Lisa Hopp. It is Sunday, December 22nd, 2024. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're new to this podcast, please be sure to check out my website at lisahopp.com. I'm also on Instagram under Spiritual Coach Lisa Hopp. I'm on Facebook under my business page, Lisa M. Hopp, Spiritual Coach and Medium. And happy holidays to everyone. There's several holidays going on right now, and if you do not listen before the end of the year, Happy New Year. So today's topic, the topic is being expanded upon by a viewer request. So I wanted to read this because it's such an important question, and the clarity is very important. So today's topic is, when is it bad karma? We want to be clear on that, don't we? Because what we put out, we get back. So the question really was about when you have an experience and you want to do a review. Should you not do a review, really, if it's not a great experience? I should read it verbatim because I did print it. Let me see here. The person has had a conflict about reviews and wants the clarification. Everyone knows a positive review is awesome on all levels. It's great to put positivity out there. Truth. It's good for the business and the service too. It's not just about, it's a win-win. But what if you've had a truly horrible experience and aren't just being a negative Nancy? You want to leave an honest review, but it's not a good review. It's a bad review. Quote, bad. And are you inviting bad karma to visit you? And there's a conflict because people should be warned about certain things that could be harmful or wasting their dollars. So some clarity needed, and I completely get it because I was just in this predicament the other day with ordering a product that online where they misled on it being a match to what we wanted. It matched up serial numbers, but it wasn't a match to the serial number. They sent a newer version of it that wasn't a match. So we have to send it back. The company is making us pay for shipping to send it back, even though it was their mislabel. And we ended up finding what we want for a better price on another site that did match and did not mislead. And so, yes, there was a part of me, well, actually I might do it. I really might do it, that wants to warn people, don't order this because it doesn't match what they are saying it will match, and then they're going to make you pay for shipping to return it, which is, I could see if I didn't like a color, but it's about fitting. It didn't fit because they sent a different product. So it's on them. Now, here's the thing with me. When I responded to them by email, I simply said, well, this is a lesson learned. I can't believe you're charging me for shipping. Lesson learned. I don't generally pick fights because then it does turn into negativity. However, should people be warned that they may have the same experience? Absolutely. But at the same time, we don't want to set about with the intention of destroying someone or something. Many times things will happen and things are boycotted. I tend to be a quieter boycotter because when you set an intention to harm comes back to you. So I'm giving more clarity about when is it good karma, when is it bad karma. I want to explain karma too a bit. Now, I also want to tell you guys that I was, I'm laughing about it. And for those who are new, I have a giggle. But I had a little bit of holiday celebration last night, so you might hear every once in a while a scratchy voice or a sniffle. I am recovering from that. So this is truly is Sunday morning coffee with Lisa after a Saturday night. Right? So I feel like I've defined my sentences already with you guys, but it was a good time and I'm well overall. Right? Okay, so back to the topic. And I'm not going to delete this and re-record. I do sometimes. I am a human being who sometimes has fun. So, back to it. Karma. It's about the feelings that you want to put out. And karma itself, we often call things karma, which are a vibration, which is energy. When we come to this life, we do bring things to work on. We come with a bit of a blueprint of past lives and things maybe we didn't get accomplished, or maybe we want to write still in this life, want to do it again, that type of thing. But we're really here to create in this life. It's a small factor, but it does impose itself upon us. It might give us blocks. It might also give us a feeling of having a connection with a human being on this earth that we don't understand. And that's because we have known them before and had some type of interaction with them before. So that is naturally a part of us when we come here, but it more impacts our own selves and our blocks we can have to love, wealth, that type of thing. It doesn't really impose beliefs upon us. That's really given to us from our ancestors here. Meaning, if you have a belief about something, it's probably handed down to you by your parents or your grandparents. The sins of the father kind of understanding or lessons. Those statements like money doesn't grow on trees. Best passed down to us. Belief systems. Whether they're truth or not truth. So that is naturally there. But when we're living this life, we are deliberate creators, and we are unconscious creators. And as we create, we emit out a vibration. And we do want that vibration to be as high as possible, because what you put out, you get back. What you focus on expands. Like attracts like. So you do want to be kind. You do want to feel grateful, because gratitude is a high vibe. You do want to be positive in your thinking and in your speaking and in your feelings. Yes. However, sometimes life is about justice. Sometimes life is about serving in a way that you would think, well, maybe this is more negative. Maybe I don't want to go there. But the writer makes a great point, and that is serving. It is important to serve. So when you have an honest, bad experience, it is your right to serve and to let people know that. That's actually kind, even though you may be posting a negative review of an experience of a company. Now, here's the thing to be clear, and I said it in the beginning. You don't want to intentionally want to destroy a company. You want to be careful with your words. I don't, by the way, most of the time, if I leave a review, 99% of the time it is positive. But in my case, if I am going to put something where I am serving in a way that says this wasn't the best experience, I'm going to be very careful about where I post that. Sometimes I just let the company know that it's a bad experience, rather than post it on Google or something. But again, it's all right to serve and post it in the public arena. But when you post it, when you write it, make sure that you make it clear that you feel you're serving. And don't get belligerent, over the top negative, name call, that type of, you don't want to go overboard. You don't want to go to a place where it comes back on you. And when we wish harm on another, that comes back on us. When we wish revenge on another, it comes back on us. So really, honestly, it's about being careful about the writing and being clear on the intention. If the intention is to serve, and then that's good. Write your, quote, bad review. I also want to say that, well, it's along the same line, that don't feel anger. That's where I was going. Don't feel the anger. Don't, step back and ponder it first. Let it clear out. Let it give yourself clarity. Because again, you don't want to go into anything in life where you're feeling rage or anger or anything that is of that lower vibration, because again, when you put out lower vibration, you get lower vibration back. Now, I am as you are, an energetic being having human experience. We actually asked to be in these bodies. And for all the roadblocks, impediments, challenges that these bodies can bring us, whether it's about health, whether it's just about our senses, we're feelers. And so I navigate my human experience all the time. And what I've learned to do, and I'm very happy about this, what I've learned to do is to not react like I may have reacted in the past. I just mean emotionally, I don't let things get to me the way it's not that I don't things just don't get to me like they used to. But let's say they do. Let's say that something makes me sad, or as I like to call it, triggers me in some way. What I've learned to do is to step back and go, what does higher consciousness cause you to do right now in yourself? I won't let anymore, most of the time, another person pull me in to their lower energy. I just don't. It just doesn't happen. I observe more. And I like it. I so like it. I realized, and this is a part of our ascension, by the way, which I'll go into next, of becoming more healed, lighter human beings on earth. But I realized over the last year that I'm not the same me I was 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, 10 years ago even. I'm ever evolving, but I'm evolving to a greater and greater version of myself, and we're all doing that at some level. Even if you look at someone and you say there's no way they are. They may be still in the thick of their healing, which brings out anger and rage and sadness and vulnerabilities and other challenges for them, but they're healing too. And we're taught that there's no one better than another. It's just everyone's at their own place with their healing. So I am really happy that I'm in my place of healing, that I can that I can let people be who they are personally in my life, and it's just like, be you. Now, sometimes I do feel compassion. Honestly, recently I felt pity for someone. I was like, whoa. But pity we don't want to feel either. I had to go right to work on that. And it's not pity. I didn't mean it in a condescending way when I say pity. It was, and maybe it's just another form of compassion. But it was like, oh, they're there still. Yeah, they're still working through that. Oh, like that. It was more like that. But they have to do it. They have to work through it. They have to evolve out. But I'm not going to react to it. I'm not going to, because see, when you react to things in a lower vibrational way, you're just feeding what you don't want to feed. You're just giving them a reason to be where they are. So if you want to help someone, keep the vibe high. But you can't fake it. Like with the review, if you were to give a non-review or a positive review and you don't feel that way, that's faking it. We want to be genuine. We don't want to be false, but we also don't want to linger there. We don't want to hang in these emotions. We want to raise it. Serve and raise and raise and raise. Go up that ladder, because again, your best feelings bring back your best feelings. Now, I recently posted on my Facebook business page, I try to post a inspirational message Monday through Friday. Sometimes I'll skip a day according to my schedule, but for the most part, I'm doing that. And recently I posted, sometimes you're the loneliest, in the loneliest time, right before the greatest time. So we can go through those times where we feel like we've been abandoned or left or just lonely, or or just back to abandonment. But abandonment's a large word, but just that sometimes people aren't around in a way that they were, right? We've all been through that, but then what that means is an upgrade's coming. So hang in, fasten the seatbelt. Now you have to participate in the upgrade. You can't, just be isolated and hope for upgrades, but that's what the universe is trying to do. It's trying to give you what you've asked for in a greater way. So keep that in mind, especially this time of year when it can be really challenging, when the celebrations are happening, the families are gathering together, that type of thing. It can make you feel even more of that isolation if you are feeling that. And I know that at least a couple people on my Facebook page responded that they felt that. And I know that's why I posted it, because I understand everything I post from Monday through Friday is inspired. It's not just, it's intuitive. It's not usually my own experience I'm posting about, but what I've been told to post. And so I understand that it's a very lonely time for many people right now. But don't worry about loneliness, meaning don't even worry about that being negative. Just understand you're in transition. And we all have times in our lives when we go through transitions. And those transitions can be smooth and they can be harder. So here's where you live in life. You live from a place, if you want the highest to come to you, the highest wealth that you will allow, the highest love that you will allow, health that you will allow, you have to allow it. You have to come from a place, it is best to come from a place where you are intentionally living from a place of good service and kindness and gratitude and seeing the blessings. And sometimes that means your honesty may not hit the target right, but it's not your job to worry about how the target takes it. Your job is to be intentionally higher consciousness, kind, see the blessings, grateful, and then watch, observe how things twirl around you. When we want to attack someone, attacking is different than adding an honest review. When you attack someone, you will be attacked. It may not come right away, but it'll come. How you treat someone is how you will be treated. So always come from that place where you're being your best self. Now, we all of us can have moments, where you're tired. Neil Donald Walsh, who wrote Conversations with God, and I might have mentioned this last week. I know I mentioned it to my clients a couple times. I saw an interview with him where he's pretty evolved, right? He talks gently and quietly, and, you can tell he's really in touch with heaven. But he even said, I'm on the 2-yard line. I'm not in the end zone of being completely evolved or, woke. Okay? Yeah, that's what that means when you... Woke people are those who are more evolved. And then so people who talk about woke are not evolved enough there. But I will end this podcast today explaining the evolvement of all of mankind a little bit more. And I have before, but again, for clarity. But he spoke about just being on the 2-yard line. He's not quite there. And he gave an example being in the kitchen with his current wife, whom he was very wonderfully, he spoke wonderfully about it, that she is such a, I'm paraphrasing, but such a great woman. But he had a moment with her where he was tired and snapped a bit in a verbal way. And probably a brief moment. The way he describes it was. And then he walked out of the kitchen and said, why did I just do that? Who was that? We all can have those moments. And I will tell you that if I have a moment with someone, personally, it's because I'm tired. I'm tested in some way. But then I go about fixing it because it's important to do that. Because I might not have intentionally sent the dagger, but I did, even if it's truth, because I only honestly speak truth, because that's just who I am today. But even if it's truth, we have to watch how we communicate it. And we have to make sure that if we're tired and stressed and challenged, maybe that's not the time. No, but I do go about that. And because I understand that, well, number one, I don't want to be like that. I want to be my best self. But I also understand the vibration I've just put out and how we all impact our environment. What you have in your environment today is what you've put out. So I take responsibility for my environment very much. I know I don't, it's not another person's or another organization's job to, I don't give them power over me. I take responsibility. We're all supposed to do that. And so my words I take a responsibility for, my feelings, my thoughts, my interactions. Yes, we are interacting with other wills, but I take a responsibility for my part in it. All right? And so back to when I slipped out about woke and clarity. All of us know at some level. Every religion knows at some level, whether you're religious or not, whether you're secular or not, that we're in a changing time. Some would call it the end times. Some would call it, new earth coming. That's how I choose to view it a lot and say it. But there is a changing time, shifting. In order to shift to that time, we're going through massive healing. And the massive healing inside can make it rough. Can make it rough for us as a civilization, as a population, as a species in every way, and especially rough for us. We're feeling things, and sometimes, a lot of the time, mental health is very much involved and challenged. And so it's important to understand that sometimes you may think about someone, gosh, they used to have common sense and now they don't anymore. Or they believe that. How can they possibly believe that? How can they possibly support that? It's part of the healing. All right. And they are very clued in to how they feel and what they think. So there's no talking to them truly about it, really. But it is part of their healing. And at some point, everybody wakes up. It's a process, or it might be an instantaneous healing. And so, it's individual and separate for everyone. But it's important because this earth is getting lighter and lighter and lighter. And so in order to live on this earth, you also have to be lighter and lighter and lighter, okay? And lighter in with what your body is like, and I don't mean physical weight, but the lightness of letting go of your mental, emotional stuff. And really, the forgiveness is important with that. Letting go, and healing it all. And you can't force it, meaning you can't say, oh, I let it go, I forgive you. I hear that from people. I forgive them. And no, you can tell that they haven't completely. There's still more work to do, but it's important to work on it. It's important to think, yes, I have forgiven them. It's part of the process, but it's ongoing. It's ongoing. And so do what you need to really be there for yourself and to notice what's happening around you, to have that awareness, because notice the little things going on that we're turning more to wanting to know about instantaneous healing, meditation, quantum physics, plant-based eating. Notice that there's hints and all around you of this healing that's coming to planet Earth. The understanding of our environment is part of that healing. And so it's everywhere. What was predicted decades ago is now here in how we are choosing to live. Notice community gardens. Notice simplicities happening. Notice more people going off grid. All of that. And so, by the way, there's no fear based in that. It's a choice. Okay? So, this is part of New Planet Earth. And so it's dialing in for us. Notice where you are, like what you're drawn to do. Notice that years ago we would say, and it's still probably going to pop up again, no, don't make me eat healthier. No, I don't want less processed. No. And that was maybe 15, 16 years ago. And now it's yes. It's okay to have less processed. So we're in evolution, in progress here. And yes, of course they mean the same thing. It's but everything is in process and in progress. So notice again where you're drawn. Okay. Again, another thing I'm happy with, that I moved on things a little bit sooner than others, but others are coming on board and they're happy too about it. They're like, yeah, I noticed that I'm making these changes with a smile. But yes, there are others that are not ready to make changes, that are where they are. And so that's, important to be you and let them be where they are. And what I mean by that is that I don't mean that we shouldn't make changes that make us more safe, that make us less violent. I'm not saying that. That's important. But if a person has a certain belief system, you can't make them change. You have to accept them where they are. But as a global society, yes, changes are in the works. And as I've said to you before, last month, we decided that perhaps we would dip down before we go up a little bit, that we decided to make it a little bit harder, rougher, crash landing more, but it still has the process of evolving. We come out of it better, even though we decided to take the vehicle on the rocky terrain a little bit more. So we could have taken the tarred road with the beautiful scene that had little things happen, maybe a little rain pouring down here and there, sure. But we decided, nope, I'm going full on bump with the potential of flattening all the tires. So, yeah, it's okay though. Inevitably, we're all going to be okay, right? There's no way you can't be. It's just, again, might be a little bit more harsher. We have to see. Our light is already shown in because of free will. And so that's important to know too. Our free will can change a path at any time or make a path better at any time. So that is happening. Now there's different predictions about when that might happen fully, but really you can't really predict it fully because it's up to mankind. It's not like a waiting for a coming, and that coming comes down to a certain hour, a certain day. Yes, it probably will be when you would not expect it fully, but we are involved. Everything has to line up, right? So try not to live in fear. Matter of fact, heaven would say to you right now, don't live in fear, be fearless. So they say it every day. So please remind yourself of that as you go through these coming times, okay? So it's important more than ever because of that to understand about vibration and energy, because the greater you heal, the greater your vibration will be, the greater you help yourself and others. They will follow you, but it will also be about the environment, meaning the environment around you, what you have created and what they have created together. And so it's so important. You get back what you put out, and the hour is not always known. Sometimes it's instantaneous, but inevitably justice is done. Know that, but again, with good karma, don't ask for it. Don't feed the lower energy. Don't let them pull you into their drama, into their lack of healing, into anything. You can defend yourself, by the way. If someone says you do this or you are this, you're allowed to say, no, I'm not that if you're not. Or if you are, you go, yes, I am. And, continue the conversation from there. But, again, we don't want to want what we don't want to get back. That's why it's very important. You ever heard this? I know you have. That those that live by the sword died by the sword. Right. If you live by the violence, you will be impacted. You don't, maybe your soul dies. Maybe your spirit dies. Not necessarily your physical body. But what you put out will come back to you. And so it's very important not to fear that, not to be paranoid, but to keep that in mind with every interaction that you have. Okay? And when you slip up, forgive yourself and try your best in the next moment to correct it. If I accidentally cut somebody else in traffic out, I'm going to let somebody else in the next few moments because I want to correct it, but also wave to the person I cut out accidentally and go, I didn't mean it, sorry. Because I'm all about, as much as possible, the good stuff going out. And you'll see it. It's fun, by the way. It's a win-win. It really is. And you will see it's a win-win at times. And it often is unexpected, your wins. You'll see people more generous with you. You'll see people more kind. It's usually, by the way, not usually, but it can often be strangers. But that's a sign that you're doing it right. And I will review myself like that. It's like, okay, how is this environment treating me? How are people treating me overall? And if I want abundance, how abundant are people being towards me? And I measure it. And if something's off that I don't like, I go at it because I know it's something about me. Because we're in charge, as you're in charge. Okay? We're all in charge of our own destinies. That's why they say, and I'm not a fortune teller, but they say don't go to a fortune teller because you create your future. So you're creating your future from your present. So make sure that your present is what you truly want. And sometimes that means you make decisions that are painful, backing away from people. Even if they're family, backing away. Because it's for the best, but for just the vibration, mental health, emotional health, spiritual health. And that can be hard. That can be so hard. Because, and also I just want to say this. Sometimes it means allowing people to misunderstand you. And just know that truth always comes out. Truth is always revealed. And sometimes that truth takes time. But again, karmic justice wins always. Justice wins always. But you can't wait for it. you can't, send any negative energy towards it happening. You just have to know it will. It will. And live on that principle. It's very, very important. And that's how you navigate this life for the best life possible. And keep visualizing too, and feeling and thinking your best life. Don't limit yourself. Don't settle. Know that you're worthy, more than enough, deserving of all that you would ask for, and ask for it through knowing it's yours just by asking for it. Thank you so much for joining me today. I feel like I got more communicative through that podcast. I woke up a little bit more. The coffee, it centered in and did its job. And I wish you all this week, whether you celebrate Hanukkah, or Christmas, or Kwanzaa, or any holiday, I wish you the best week ever. Generosity from you and to you. Just good times. Wonderful friends. Good family. All that you would ask for. Because the best is your birthright. And thank you again for joining me. And if you listen, you know how I'm going to end this. If you're listening to this on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and share. But thank you to everyone else who listens on the other platforms such as Spotify and Amazon and iHeart, and through any way. Just wow with that. Thank you. And please keep listening. Please keep sharing. Please, if you connected with this today, please let people know, because that's a wonderful way of service. And I just say thank you, thank you, thank you. And until next time, again, have a great week, and I will talk to you next time. Bye-bye.